So how's your weekend going, man?
It's too hot to do anything, so
It
I'm
is.
just gonna
It's
stay inside the rest
awful.
of my life. I looked at the forecast, and so I'm never leaving the house again. Except Luke and I are playing soccer tomorrow night, so that should be interesting.
I don't believe Luke exists anymore.
He showed up last week. We had an extra sub because he didn't respond, and we added a sub. We added a person. And they just appeared out of thin air, and I said, I can't believe what I'm seeing in front of me here.
His life just seems like complete chaos.
You see him when he drops his dog off at your house, and I see
No.
him when on the occasion that he drops.
I
My
don't.
sock.
Tessa drops the dog off.
Oh, so you haven't seen Luke in like 3 months?
Yeah, I don't. I could not tell you the last time I saw Luke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
Well,
is.
count yourself as lucky, I guess, in that regard. But
Yeah, we thought we were gonna have him this week, but he texted us just like this progression of like him getting home later and later today, and so we finally just said we got to record.
we didn't tell him we were recording, but I guess we can tell him that afterwards.
No, yeah, we can. I don't know. We can. What would the equivalent be? Just not tell him? I don't know.
Yeah, just not respond to his text until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or I see him at soccer, I'll let him know what happened.
Yeah, his whole life. I mean, it just seems so crazy. I think he's
I like
in
the punchline too, right? It's like I won't be around for the next several weeks either.
Yeah. So that's the other news. Is he was like, we're getting home. I might have lost you. Are you there? Anyway, he was like, we're getting home after 8 now, and also I'm out for the next several weekends. Is what he said. So like, who knows? Let's see.
Well, maybe he's coming back with some good bourbon for us, but
I doubt it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to save. We're gonna have to save the late season recap that you wanted to go through with him until he's back around again.
Yeah. I don't. I have no idea when he'll be around again, and it doesn't sound like he does either. So yeah, I mean, I guess we're just gonna drag this bitch through the summer, and then maybe he'll be back in the fall. I have no idea. It like the way it sounds like. So when I last saw Tessa, she was like, "This is our last trip." And then things should get a lot more normal. It's starting to get to me too, but that does not jive with what he just said.
Who's scheduling these things?
Yeah, and a lot of it seems to be like, I don't know. I think like
who's actually in charge of this scheduling, since neither of them seem to know what the schedule is.
Right, but like, so he's in Vermont, right? That's where his family is from, and then his in-laws were in town last weekend, and they like always seem to be in town. Like it seems like every 2 months or something. And where I'm going with this is like, I guess some people like their extended family a
like
lot
seeing
more
their family,
than like you, me, and Shannon. Yeah, and
did you mean immediate family or extended family, or is this to do both?
I have no idea who they're
named individuals.
Yeah. I just know the in-laws were a couple weekends ago. Anyway, we don't have to sit here and like audit Luke's schedule, but
or discuss all of our familial issues. We'll save that for a separate episode. Yeah.
The punchline is that we have no idea when Luke will be back. So
everybody will be aching in anticipation.
Sorry, it's just us again. And we don't have much good news.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, like what's the good news? There's like,
I mean, I got some good naps in extra time of these quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think these Euros have been, I mean, in ways they've been exciting. In other ways, they've been extremely disappointed, and I think the lows outweigh the highs for me, but we can dig into that. Yeah. Copa, we have to talk about that. we may as well kick off with that.
Okay. You want to hurt yourself early today.
Yeah, so...
I hadn't thought about this for like 72 hours or so, to be honest.
Yeah, so we lost to Uruguay. I'm trying to remember the exact details. I also haven't thought about it too much. So we lost. What did it end up being?
1-0.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. And then, so we needed a result on the other side, and there's
Panama beat Bolivia, which was going on at the same time, which it looked like they were tied at one point and we were going to be through, and then that kind of
Bolivia was ahead at one point, which we also need to talk about that. So, all right, where do I want to start with this? First of all, the broadcast. What the fuck was that angle?
No. So those are the custom camera settings I use on FIFA 24.
Yeah, you like that?
Well, if you got a 77-inch TV, it works, but and you use these little mini figures running around. No, that actually is a worse camera angle than what I would use to like juice my like field of view playing a video game of soccer. I don't know what we were doing there. I guess they ran it up the flagpole at the top, and that's where it was. I was trying to explain to Jess that like not every game is broadcast at an 80-degree angle down on the field, because that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that was.
And also,
ridiculous.
Not every game has this many injuries, including traumatic head injuries and like CONCACAF bullshit. I was like, no, this is just CONCACAF. Like, soccer actually isn't like football, where like 5 players are leaving the game injured every game.
Yeah. So the angle, like, not even the announcers could cover for that angle. They were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
They had the camera mounted on the roof of the stadium or something. This is an Arrowhead.
Honestly, it's probably the football, or one of the football mounting positions.
Yeah.
This game was really Arrowhead for some perspective on why that was the case at Chiefs Stadium.
Yeah, which equally, or not equally ridiculous, but contributing to the outrageousness of this match was that it was played on a football field, and so the width, the pitch itself was right up against the wall.
Yeah.
To the point that there was no room to run up for a throw in or a corner, really. And it was just a completely outrageous look for a country that is tapped to host the World Cup in 2 years. I'm trying to find, is this it? Nope. So there was someone on Reddit. I'm going to be all over the place with this game, but the officiating in this match was something special. Did you just like go to your happy place? That was Derek's doing breathing exercises.
I'm going back to the week before, where like I said everything I would say today.
Yeah.
About CONCACAF and the location of these games and the refs and injuries and bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, all of this, everything that you've been complaining about, I guess, or pointing out is maybe a more generous way to put it. That was on full display. It actually got worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on full display, and it was actually worse because it was impacting like us being eliminated from the tournament to an extent.
Yep.
Directly.
Yep. So, I found it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, well, all right. So this fucking ref, the standout. So first of all, the goal. What how wait, no. So what happened first in the match was the ref giving the yellow card while also playing on.
Yeah,
Which
signaling
is
the play on,
signaling the play on,
signaling it. Yeah,
which is like if you're giving a yellow card, you've stopped play. He also blew his whistle, right? Blew his whistle, yellow card.
Presumably.
Luckily, Tim Ream heads up play by him. He didn't stop playing the ball even with the yellow card being brandished. But I mean, ridiculous. The announcers ahead of the game indicated that the ref had 6 professional matches under his belt or something like that, and he lived up to that billing. So on the refs, there's a user on Reddit. This is on the US soccer subreddit. They went through and they looked at the fouls per yellow card, or fouls per card brandished by the referees for CONMEBOL in the Copa America, and it's pretty shocking, actually. The 3 teams that were most frequently shown a card are Canada, Mexico, and USA, averaging 4 fouls per card given. The fewest are Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. I'm trying to see, where's Brazil? Yeah, I mean, it to me, this looks like a scandal. Uruguay, 36 fouls per card given. I can't sort this, but anyway.
Well, and as it pertains to this game, right, like among many frustrations, that was one of them again, because I feel like the refs let these things get away from them. They allow a tone to be set for the game, namely where we're getting the shit fouled out of us, and people like Balogun, our best players, are getting hurt and taken out of the game, and there's maybe a yellow shown. I mean, they took 1 yellow in this game. I mean, it's like, give me a break.
They took 1 yellow in the group stages.
Yeah.
And Ugarte is dirty as fuck. There's no way that dude... I mean, I shouldn't say no way because I didn't watch these. Like, I didn't watch all of Uruguay's games. But it would blow my fucking mind out of the back of its skull if he didn't deserve a yellow card. I think it was Nunez who got carded in this. So, like, it wasn't even like...
Correct.
Yeah. Anyway, so the reffing was tragic, and tragic with the most generous interpretation of what happened with the reffing, and corrupt with the least generous interpretation of what happened. The ref wouldn't shake Pulisic's hand at the end of the match.
So did you watch the full clip of that?
I did, yeah.
So, as context for everyone, I mean, basically Pulisic, who was incensed for the last 10 minutes of the game, and not with good reason, basically starts gesturing at the refs to go join the Uruguay celebration at midfield, which I think is great. And then goes to shake the ref's hand. The linesman shakes his hand. The ref wants nothing to do with it. And to your point, up until now, I think I've always looked at it as just like gross negligence in these games, the CONCACAF games. Now, this was a mixed referee field, right? Because it wasn't. So it's South American and CONCACAF refs, to your point, right? So It's just interesting to see how that dynamic played out, which is basically the CONCACAF teams continued playing very physically and taking a ton of cards. But it is interesting because it's not like if you watch any of the other games. I'm trying to think. I watched a little bit of Ecuador versus maybe that was Peru or Panama I was watching. I have to look at what game it was. But the point is the rest of these games were pretty physical as well. And so to see that disparity in cards is pretty shocking.
Well, I don't think the first part of your statement is accurate. So, like, total fouls to that point, like in the group stages, total fouls committed, USA was last with 24. Yeah. Second to last was Mexico, and they took the highest rate of cards. Yeah, like it looks just like the fix was in. It really does. Like it's hard to interpret this any other way. But yeah, anyway, so and then you've got the goal, right? So what's his name? Oliveira. Yeah. Who does he plays like in Italy, right? I think Matthias Oliveira. Yeah, he plays for Napoli. Anyway, he scored a goal. What was it? It was like a set piece or was it just played in? I'm trying to remember. All I remember is that it was definitely offsides. Two things. One, yeah, I think the ball was. I believe it was a set piece. Maybe I'm wrong.
I forget whether it was recycled or was a set piece.
Well, yeah, it was like close to Turner, and he punched it. He did a really poor job punching it away, and it basically like was left there for Oliveira to score. Now, or was it? It was like a flick on. So it was like it came off the head of another player. I don't remember exactly. But what's important about this goal is that it was absolutely offsides, to the point that the first time the VAR sent the picture in to the broadcast, it showed the lines were drawn such that it showed that Oliveira was offside. And the broadcasters were like, I don't know what to make of what I'm looking at. And then they sent a follow-up picture where they rewound the footage so that it would make him appear onside, but it wasn't exactly when the ball was flicked on, I think is what it was. And I don't know. Just the whole thing was a circus. And I think the viewing angle played into that, because that's like VAR didn't have a shot down the sideline to judge that by, and it wasn't automated VAR. And yeah, I mean, this whole thing was just a shit show, and the US wasn't good enough. And yeah, I don't know. So here we are. We are eliminated from Copa America. Canada is through. What are you reading?
I was trying to look at this damn angle of this offside, because I never saw anything that to me said it was definitively offside. I didn't think, but in typical fashion, ESPN offers an opinion without actually stating it, giving an answer. So basically, in summary, it's well, if we had more accurate offsides technology like what's used at the Euros, then it probably would have been ruled offside. Then what? Then why are we say? And then the counter argument is, oh well, with the crosshair bullshit that we use for these games, it was onside. Well, it's either one or the other, right? I don't know. I mean, did you see anything beyond that suggested to you one way or the other what it was?
Well, like I said, the first photo that came into the live broadcast showed that he was offside.
Well, I think that was misaligned.
Yeah.
Right.
So then they rewound the footage to prior to the ball coming off. It was like a flick on, right? Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, because it was off. But yeah, you're right. It's a flick on. Yeah.
Yeah. And prior to it coming off like the other Uruguay player's head, they rewound the footage to make it look like he was onside and like redrew the lines and sent that in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't think like the US team had to beat them because of how the other game played out, and they could not score, and they seriously underperformed expectations. And the nightmare scenario for the Federation is that Canada is through. Jesse Marsh's Canada is through. And this is a bad look all around. And Berhalter hasn't been sacked. The Federation says that they are making a decision by the middle of this week.
Yeah. Do you think they'll sack him?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling I get more and more. Like, it sounds like there's these proponents there's some proponents that want to keep him, so that's why this is dragging out. But
well, the director of football wants to keep him. Like, the leaks out
was that the guy that wasn't even around?
Yep. Yeah, Matt Crocker. So we've like hired
Crock
this
shit.
Yeah. We've hired this Welsh director of football who I guess is like never in the fucking country. And they had a meeting after the elimination, and the leaks that came out of that meeting were that it was basically everyone against Matt Crocker, who was trying to stick by Greg Berhalter. I do think that they will sack him. There's a lot of talk, and I don't think this is real, but it would be fucking wild, around the idea of Jurgen Klopp coming to coach the U.S. team. Tim Howard proposed this. He said that he thinks he could convince Jurgen Klopp to come. He went so far as to say that. I don't know why he would want that job, other than, I guess, I don't know. It's an easy job in terms of the level of commitment, time commitment. So if he wanted to remain in world soccer but not have the commitments of running a club like Liverpool.
Yeah, on like a day-to-day basis, it should be less stressful and less onerous than running a club.
Yeah. And then there is the commercial value, if he were to come here, period, would be huge. Like he'd be an instant hero, I think. And then if he were to perform, if he were to figure this out, then, sky's the limit. I mean, Emma Hayes wanted to come here. Like specifically wanted to come coach the U.S. women's team. Now that's different. That's like among the best programs in the world versus like where we're at with the men's team. But yeah, we'll see. But Greg, like, this was obvious. We've complained about him for as long as we've been doing this podcast. He doesn't seem to have a clue. And the thing I wanted to bring up about the score was when Bolivia went up 1-0, Berhalter was shouting onto the field
and
the score
signaling.
And hand signaling the score of the other game. Like a fucking clown. Like, that is immaterial to what is going on the pitch. Your way to control your destiny as a team was to go out there and win that match. And he should have been spending his energy figuring out tactically how to set up for that. And I mean, they just shouldn't have been in that position at all. To begin with, but they were, and there's been a lot of talk about Greg, and the players love him, and when the players are interviewed, they don't want him to go. And a comment that was made, I think by Carly Lloyd, who was one of the commentators, was that the players shouldn't universally love the coach. This is like, it's their boss, and there has to be respect.
To say that they hated some of their coaches.
Yeah.
And they won anyways.
Yeah. So, like, there has to be an element of respect between the players and the coaches, but it's not a friendship. And that seems to be what Greg has, he's quick to point to the vibes of the U.S. team. But the product on the field is really underperforming the level of talent that we have on the team. And the fact that the players are okay with that is a problem. And hearing her say that, it actually made me think of the Pochettino sacking a little bit, because the players loved Pochettino come the end of the season, when it was widely reported that the players were really upset with Pochettino's sacking. And they were interviewed, but the club just went another way. And it's because they looked at the data and they determined that it was unlikely that they would progress. They felt they had hit the ceiling of what they could achieve with the tactics that Pochettino wanted to employ. And the players love a really fast and loose manager that allows them to be expressive on the pitch and doesn't have like a rigid system and plans and tactics. And all of that is like very boring when you presented with the opportunity to just press and vibes, so like I was pretty shocked by the Pochettino sacking, but what Carly Lloyd said about Berhalter, it made me reflect, I guess, on like what happened with Pochettino. And like, it's obvious, like Greg has to go. He is not the man for the job. I also don't think Jesse Marsch is the man for the job. I think he's a dog shit coach who is catching fire. I mean, he ran Leeds into the ground, and he's catching fire in a bottle right now.
Yeah.
But Jesse Marsch is a dog shit coach, and we need to be aiming higher than both of these guys. Is my
I think a
assessment.
little bit of what we're seeing with Canada is that neither of these regions actually are as good as we thought they were, which is depressing in its own right. It's interesting because I do agree that Greg has to go at this point, like whether he used the root cause or not. But even with just all the environment that's around the team at the moment as a result of this. But it's tricky. I mean, looking at tactics, if we suspend disbelief and say that the result of the Panama game was an individual mistake and not a coaching mistake, looking at this game, similarly, it's tough to point out too many like smoking guns, right? I think, though, to your point, like telling them the score of another unrelated, another game during the game is not the right approach from a world-class leader, right? But he was in a tough position in terms of the lineup he could field. It's clear in hindsight that playing Musa probably wasn't the right move in this game. Part of me feels like they could have played Tillman or somebody out wide to start the game and dropped Reina back. Because right, wrong, or indifferent, I mean, it didn't work, right? But ultimately, the result of this game for me was very much on the players. But sometimes that's what costs a coach their job anyways, regardless of whether it's the players or the coach in a specific scenario.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that anything stood out to me from a tactics standpoint. I thought we were trying to play progressively. I thought I think the players were up for it. They seemed like it. But the class just wasn't there to go win this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got it. It's pretty frustrating. I was pretty frustrated watching the game, as one might imagine. I was frustrated the couple days after, but we've got to figure out something before 2026 at this point to progress things, because there's too much talent. And you saw the pundits in the U.S., former players going on about this. I mean, there's too much talent for us to have this kind of result at this stage in the game.
Yep. Yeah, we need to figure it out, and we need to figure it out quick, because I don't know when we'll get another opportunity like we'll have in 26. I mean, the last World Cup that was held here prior to this was in the 90s, right? So
yeah.
You've got a good generation of talent, and you get to host the World Cup. You get to automatically qualify because you're the host nation, so the pressure is off in terms of qualification. We need a coach that can put it all together, and he's not it. Just why? Like, he seems so stupid too. Like his fucking press conferences, man.
I can't even watch the clips, to be honest, because
they're like
talking to a cardboard box.
Yeah, they're cringe. Like, they trigger that like internal cringe thing that like you get watching Michael Scott on The Office.
Like, why did anyone put this guy in front of a camera? And then you're like, oh wait, he has to go in front of the camera because he's the coach. Yeah, because otherwise you wouldn't want him talking to anyone.
Yeah, what did they asked if his job should be on the line, and he acted like he didn't understand the question, and
can I phone a friend, please?
Yeah. He was like, excuse me? I don't think I understand the question. Oh, let me clarify. You just bombed us out of the Copa America. Do you think we should fire you? If I did this poorly at my job, I would be fired. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's probably it. I think that tournament's over now, right? Like, nothing else to talk about there.
Brazil got eliminated.
Yeah, Brazil got eliminated by Uruguay, right? Last night, or maybe earlier
Uruguay's
today.
Looking like, I
think Canada plays Argentina next.
Yes, right? Canada, Argentina might be Tuesday, and I think the other game is Wednesday,
and that'll be Colombia, Uruguay. See, it feels like Argentina largely has a free hit here. Like, for like they could very well go through and win the cup.
Yeah, I mean, Uruguay's looked good too, but yeah, I think probably one of those two.
Yeah, I mean, Colombia. I mean, it was Panama, right? They beat the fuck out of them. What was the score of that? Like 5-0. Yeah, they beat the absolute shit out of Panama. 2 penalties awarded in that one. Yeah,
I didn't even see that score. That's pretty bad. But I mean, I don't know. Panama was outclassed in that one.
Yeah. Relatively even on the score sheet in terms of, not score sheet, but like the stat sheet, I guess.
Yeah.
Panama 14 shots to Colombia's 7. Colombia 5 shots on target to 3 for Panama, and possession like virtually even. Pass accuracy virtually even. I don't know, like Panama, like if you're just looking at the game stats, they were up for it, but just got fucking mowed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's enough Copa talk, and let's move on to the Euros. What was your favorite Euros match of the weekend, Derek?
Portugal, France, because that had I basically got a nap during regular time and a nap during extra time, so that was pretty cool.
That match was was really uninspiring. I'm going to take them in order. So let's talk about Spain and Germany first. So this one required extra time.
Yeah.
Germany came out looking like they, at least some part of their strategy was to be really physically opposing against Spain. I guess Spain has a pretty young squad and maybe a slight squad in terms of like physical stature.
Sure. Yeah.
And they came out and were really putting in a hard, they were stuck in like from the very beginning. And Kroos put in a tackle on Pedri that clipped his knee. He went down and immediately flagged to come out of the game. That happened at the 8-minute mark, I think. And that's significant. Pedri has already been ruled out for the rest of the Euros. I saw that. Yeah. Let's see if there's any further update. It just says left knee injury, but he has been officially ruled out. What is this? FC Barcelona is set to receive money from Pedri injury. That earn money from the injured midfielder Pedri if he's out for more than 4 weeks. The number 8 tweaked his right quad in March. I don't know. I don't feel like reading
policy? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways.
So anyway, yeah, Pedri out for the rest of the Euros. They bring on Dani Olmo, who scores the opening goal of this one off a really... Dude, the way this is... It's weird. They have the... who scored as the Lamine Yamal assist at 51 minutes and the Dani Olmo goal at 52 minutes. It's very, very bizarre. Lamine Yamal assist. It was a beautiful ball in to Olmo, who scored, and the comments after the match were that Kroos injuring Pedri was like the best thing that happened to Spain. I think Olmo assisted the second goal. Yeah, he did. Yeah. So Olmo assisted the second goal to Marino. Florian Wirtz, he scored at the 89th minute, like right at the brink. So Germany ends up having to... All right, so there were a few interesting things that happened. Spain subs out their really dynamic wingers. Lamine Yamal comes off for Ferran Torres at the 63rd minute. And then Nico Williams at the 80th minute, he is subbed off. And it really looks to me like Spain is playing for a 1-0 win. And a lot of the width is gone. A lot of the threat is gone from the wings at this point. Yeah. And at the 89th minute, so the field, at least the attacking threat from Spain becomes really narrow, and I felt easy to defend. And Germany was able to get a lot of attacking pieces on the pitch, and Florian Wirtz scores a pretty wonderful goal in the 89th minute, sends it to extra time, and notably in extra time, Dani Carvajal, he takes 2 yellow cards, leading to a red. They will be missing him next match. Who else are they missing? There's like a whole host. I think Rodri's out in the next match. I could be wrong about that. He's taken several yellow cards. He may have taken enough to get an accumulation and have that wiped clean, and I don't remember. But I know that a story of this fixture was how many players were already on yellow cards heading into it. And then, a Dani Olmo assist to Mikel Merino to win the game for Spain. Did you have any other thoughts on this one?
I think that's interesting you call out them Spain going a little bit narrow or less attacking that early in the half. And it's interesting because Kimmich also ends up from a fullback position getting the assist on that. game tying goal. But I mean, for me, this was I'd say the best game I watched. Obviously, the late goal made it pretty exciting. And actually having a goal in extra time rather than going to this PK bullshit or playing Southgate ball for
we're gonna get there.
Extra time, yeah. So no, I think it was a great overall game. In terms of quarterfinals, probably the highlight for me. I think it could have gone either way. In a lot of ways, Germany was a really talented team. I don't think they played poorly. I think they created some chances and just whether it was going off the post, just not finishing, kind of left one or two out there, and that was the difference in this one. But end of an era for Kroos. You saw the impact he continued to have on the game. So, he'll be missed from that squad. Mueller, I think, announced his retirement, right, and so another one that's going to be missed. But you see some of these younger players coming into the fold, not least of which King Kai up there, leading the line.
King Kai. He was pretty... I mean, he has a 6.6 on Who Scored, so he couldn't have been that bad. But I didn't see him get in the mix too much in this one. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, this was for sure the most exciting of the matches. It lived up to the billing for me, but
yeah. Now I guess, to the point on Kai, right? Like, he had an all right game, but I don't know that objectively you'd look at that game and say Fulkrug couldn't have done better.
Fulkrug nearly scored the equalizer at the end there with a
so
header.
It makes you
that
wonder
was
what
just
would have
off.
happened with a full run at it.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Fulkrug up there versus Kai. There's something, there's something that like every manager sees in Kai that I just don't see happen often on the pitch. Now, the back half of the season he played for Arsenal, he looked really good, borderlining on spectacular. But that's not consistent enough for me. We'll see how he plays next season, and I don't think he looked that great for Germany. And yeah, I think I'd rather Fulkrug out there, especially for like international soccer.
That's the thing, right? Like it's weird to play with somebody who's less of a striker and more of like a false nine or a center forward in modern soccer, and especially in the international where there's less time for preparation and like I'll just to put it bluntly, like tactical acumen, right? And like the minutia that like a pep team drills on day to day. So I mean, I think the fit is a little bit weird in that regard, right? You see similar things with João Felix, I think in a way.
We should talk about it. All right, so let's go to Portugal. Portugal 0, France 0. This was a tragic game.
Yeah.
I did think, I mean, Portugal looked bright at times, but these managers, I think I made the mistake of saying that Deschamps was more progressive than Southgate, that he was more willing to let his good players shine. I think I said
don't know
that.
If that's not true, but
yeah, but it's alluding to more credit than he deserves. This is. Yeah, these teams, especially in extra time, were just not interested in trying to win this match. And it was challenging for me to watch this one, especially once the subs started rolling in, because both managers, it seemed like they were taking off. Like, where is the wisdom? So I think Roberto Martinez is like one of the biggest frauds in soccer management. Like he completely squandered Belgium's golden generation. Like couldn't get a tune out of them, and now he's at Portugal, And I think his first sub, where's the list of subs? I think he subbed Bruno off first. Oh, no. He subbed João Cancelo and then Bruno like a minute later. Maybe that was all in the same sub. They're listed back to back. Bruno Fernandes, who is a huge set piece threat, very creative, and practically automatic on penalties.
And then you're leaving João Palhinha out there until the 91st minute.
Yep. And then João Felix comes on, which I guess that you could argue that that's a progressive sub, but he pulled Rafael Leao off, who was by far the biggest threat on the field.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to make a point in this game.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just I didn't understand. And then on the other side, right, like Antoine Griezmann off for Dembele, fine. That seemed to be a good change. Dembele added a lot of width.
Had a huge impact on the game. I think out of all the substitutions made in this one, had the biggest impact on the game, in my opinion.
Yep, agreed. But then he brought on Fofana for Camavinga in the 91st minute. Camavinga, I thought, was their best player. I think the refs called him the best player for France. Looking at the... Koundé had a really good match. Theo Hernandez had a very good game too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tchouaméni played well. Camavinga, Magic Mike had a very good game. How on earth does Mbappe have a 7 on Who Scored? That's shocking. I thought he was just largely absent from this one.
He got on the ball. He got some shots off. They weren't great shots.
Yeah.
But not world class number 9. I mean, Dembele looked like a more dangerous player for one, at least, right?
Yeah, and that was part of what was important about the Dembele substitution is that it spread the threat out on the field.
Yeah.
So that bought some space for Mbappe.
I don't know what to make of Griezmann starting over Dembele in the first place at this point. I mean, granted, like Dembele's like injuring kids in the front and second row regularly with how bad his shooting is, but other than that, I don't know.
Who started as their 9?
Durham, right? Or sorry,
no, he was subbed on.
Who was in the middle?
I thought it was Griezmann. Maybe they must have changed formation, basically. And maybe it was just Griezmann and Mbappe at top.
Yeah, they have Muani up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, this one was one to forget. Went to penalties, and France won. France, notably, it's like they've only scored 2 goals from open play, and it's the first time a team has progressed to this point in the tournament with only scoring 2 goals from open play. They are really, really boring to watch. Now, it is worth mentioning that the next match we're going to talk about, England, I think that France has created like an order of magnitude more. I don't have the stats in front of me, but an order of magnitude more good opportunities or big opportunities on the pitch. Their XG, I think, is significantly higher than England. So let's pivot into England. So the next match we were treated to was England 1, Switzerland 1, England advancing on penalties. And this game was interesting for a few reasons to me. The formation that England came out with was interesting.
Just as we prescribed it.
Yeah.
That's why people listen in, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know what's going to happen. We know. Certainly we know tactics better than Gareth South. So,
I can say that. I could say that much. I don't know it better than most, but I do know them better than Gareth Southgate. Yeah. Anyway, England looked more threatening in this match than they have in any of their previous matches, but that's not saying a whole lot. Switzerland were definitely up for it. It is a case, well, especially the way they ended this match was interesting. So Bellingham ends the match, dropped back next to Rice, which I think we had brought up here as something to be explored. The issue is I think that Bellingham's ego wouldn't tolerate him starting there from the beginning of a match. And the big issue is that, like, so I think that you are like more of the philosophy of getting your best players on the pitch. I think that can work to a point, but you basically have like Foden, Bellingham, and Kane just stepping all over each other because they all want to occupy the same space in the middle of the pitch. And it's looked real clumsy.
I tried watching for it more because you've called it out. And like there are times where like it looked like they were literally like stepping on each other. And they were looking around confused because nobody knew who to like lead the line, who to like come next, who to drop in, who to then run in this space. Like they had no clue what that dynamic should look like. And granted, like whatever Southgate's drawing on the Etch-a-Sketch on the sideline isn't going to tell them how to operate that either.
Yeah. So anyway, England get it done. I'm trying to think. Shaqiri looked really bright when he came on. I thought he had like sort of a clumsy pass right after he subbed on, but other than that, he looked pretty good. Xhaka looked really good. The cross in from... Who did the cross come in from? I know Shar was
Bola finished it, right?
Yeah, they don't have I guess it was unassisted because it touched I think it touched Stones. Or Stones got megged, I thought. I'm trying to remember the goal. Anyway, the build up to the goal by Mbolo was really good. Like I don't know, it was fun to watch. I think Stones got megged and then it was off another like an English defender and then just punched in. Bukayo Saka's goal was like world class. The only place he could have put that, just put the team on his back and got a goal for them relatively late in this one, the 80th minute.
It looked like they weren't going to get a goal, right? Because it was the same bullshit where like they couldn't create good chances for somebody to go finish. And to your point, like that wasn't a high probability position he was in. He just decided he was going for it, and
someone had to do something,
right?
Yeah, and Saka was a standout in this one for me. He just looked like a threat the whole match, and
not only that, right? Putting his ego aside, I mean, forget about where Bellingham wants to play. Like Saka was asked to play both wingback positions in this one, right? Getting the game saving goal, game tying goal.
Yep,
and putting away his penalty too.
Yep. What a weight lifted from him after what happened in the last.
Yeah, I mean, good for him, right? It's good to see that. So, to your point, the way the fans treated him after the World Cup. I
did see a lot of people praising Palmer after this one. I think that this was the least interesting or least convincing displays from Palmer coming off the bench. I think it's tough, man. Like he's such a different profile from everyone else who is in this England squad. And he really just doesn't give a fuck, does he? Like,
no.
Like they'll just be in the trenches and they'll throw Palmer on, and he's just immune to pressure. That part is, it couldn't be more obvious. Like he was getting in, I forget who it was, one of the Swiss players' face. Like he just doesn't care. He's not standing down to anyone. I wouldn't say that
to have off the bench, right? Late in a game like this, we're looking for something.
Southgate
felt compelled to put him in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that he was like the other matches where he's been thrown on to like try to save something. He's looked like a big game changer, and I think everybody's called him out, and people have been pleading practically with Southgate to start with him on the pitch. This one, I don't think he was as impactful, but he switched it up. I think another thing to point out here is that Kane was subbed off in this one. Kane looks really out of place in this squad. That chemistry issue that I was just talking with you about, it is a profound issue that is having an impact on Kane and where he feels he should be on the pitch. He has been devoid of ideas. He's not a threat. And it was to the point that Kane has a good penalty record.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking about, right?
Southgate subbed him off.
Like 10 minutes out of Tony to try and win it. That can't really be. I mean, it's not like they were trying to really win it anyway. So basically you're saying, oh, I want Trent to take a penalty over Harry Kane, which is an indictment on one of the best strikers in the world to say, I don't want him out there taking a penalty.
Yep. Yeah, or like, to put it another way, Kane has been so detrimental to the run of play in this match that I'm not even good. Like I need to yank him with 10 minutes left, and we're probably going to penalties. Like I just need to try something. So England, and I have a point to make. I guess I can make it after, sort of combining how I felt about these two fixtures that we've just talked about: the Portugal France, and the England-Switzerland match.
Are we supposed to develop and recognize themes on this podcast now too? Is that something
I'm going to try
to do? Okay.
So
I think this is a good role for you.
Potentially, like the thought I had, I like went for a walk after having to watch this fucking match.
Wake up.
Yeah. And like is the thought I had is like by definition is international soccer boring?
No.
And
I don't think so.
Like, because every team, or especially the most successful teams, I guess, like when you think about France, like England, Portugal largely played this way.
Yep.
They play this really negative style.
Yep.
Where it's like, we're just going to hang back, play for set pieces. We're going to risk nothing. And we're just going to hope you make a mistake and we capitalize on it. And you're taking some of the best players in the world and turning them into just robots. And I watch this. I like a good, like, technical, like a jiu-jitsu match between coaches, but like that's not what we're seeing. And soccer is entertainment. And I'm not entertained. And I guess at the end of the day, winning's all that matters. But
Well, right. And so I think part of it comes down, there's a couple things because I thought about this as well, right? Part of it comes down to the rules, and I think it's too late in the history of soccer, probably at this point, to do anything to change it, right? But like the notion that if you get through extra time, then you go to PKs, and it just incentivizes you to play not to lose rather than to win it to some extent, because then everybody feels like, oh, on PKs I have the advantage because of this or whatever. They just don't want to lose it. I think PKs is a terrible way of deciding a winner. Yeah, part of me wishes that they had thought through that better at the inception to come up with something. But now it's just it's part of the history of the game. I don't know that's ever going to go away. I think you have a lot of coaching influence, right? You have people like Southgate and Deschamps who, again, are playing not to lose, right? And so I think with more progressive managers, there would be something more positive to come out of it. Klopp being an example, right? Like Klopp is never going to go into any game, international or club-wise, and play to not lose. That's not his mentality. And to your point, it's not the mentality that leads to entertaining soccer, which is important too. What really stood out to me, I think, through all of this tournament and a lot of the international environment at the moment, especially with the skeleton of Ronaldo running around the field, is we don't have that crop of like world-class strikers leading the line. It's not like, I don't even know who was in the comp set back then, but like, you had Ronaldo and Rooney and Podolski and all these great scorers or striker, people playing striker at least. We just don't have that. Mbappe was supposed to be that, and he had his boo-boo and had to go ice it, most of this tournament so far. He could prove me wrong here.
Dude, I still think you're downplaying how bad a broken nose is. Have you ever had your nose broken?
No, because I don't put my nose anywhere where it's gonna get broken. Like I'm all talk and no walk. So no, yeah, okay. I haven't broken my nose. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that. So yeah.
Okay. It sucks.
I'm sure,
and you can't breathe.
I'm sure it didn't feel great. Yeah.
And he took another hit to the nose in this match, which I'm sure swelled it up lightly.
Again. I mean, he got blasted.
Yeah.
He's lucky that he got blasted in the face.
Like the noise it made, I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like, and then like in the replay, you saw it hit the mat. Dude, calling it a boo-boo is a little. I know you're being demeaning, but.
Anyways, I wish we had better strikers that could play through pain.
That could play through pain.
Instead I've got Mbappe crying, Ronaldo's crying. Everybody's just sitting there crying. I don't know.
Oh my god, man. Yeah. Well, we still have Netherlands, Turkey to talk about, which I was entertained.
Turkey.
They
changed it. I missed the press release, admittedly, myself, but so I've got to retrain my brain to start saying Turkey now.
Is that just what it always was called? And
probably. We were just
ignorant.
Ignorant English-speaking countries just mispronouncing stuff.
Yeah.
But now here's what I don't get though, right? Am I supposed to start calling them Deutschland? I don't. Strike. I don't know.
Who was the guy that was suspended? Let's talk about this first. Did you hear about this?
Wait, what are we talking about?
In Turkey.
I don't think so.
The Turkey. Is he a defender? What is it? I don't know how to say this guy's name. I'll be honest, I had never heard of this person prior to this tournament. He plays this. What?
Oh no. Okay, who is this?
Mara Demiral. I don't know. Anyway, he plays in the Saudi Pro League. He used to play for Fenerbahce. Looks like. He was at Atalanta and then went to Al Ali. What position does this guy play? I thought he was a defender. He's 6'3". Yeah, center back. All right.
Can we edit out this lead-in so it makes it sound like I'm less clueless than I am about what we're talking about?
Well, I'll catch you up. I can't even pronounce the fucking guy's name. Let me see.
He plays for Turkey, eh?
How do you pronounce... Plays for Turkey, eh? Can I play this? Mary Demiral.
Okay.
Mary Demiral. Yeah. All right. So Mary Demiral, that's the last time I'm going to say his name. He scored 2 in Turkey's previous match to send them through to this match. I forget who they were playing. But he, dude, my memory is just fucking going with age. I swear to God. I used to be able to, like, recall everything I'd done, like, watched. And, yeah, anyway... I do know this dude. He's a center back. He scored 2 set piece goals, and after one of them, he made a alt-right, Turkish alt-right groups like signal, like they have some kind of like hand gesture, and he made that to the crowd, and it was captured obviously on tens of cameras and broadcasted all over the world. And it turns out that in Germany, at least, this alt-right group is sort of considered a like terrorist organization of sorts. I guess it's worth noting that I think they are like an actual political organization in Turkey. So they're not like a underground. They're not like the what was that weird group of incels in America? The Proud Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not like the Proud Boys. This is like an organized group. But it was still a really dumb thing to do. And UEFA came out and banned him for 2 matches. So he missed this match, and he would have missed the following match for his idiocy. I think interestingly, he was, what UEFA had to say about, it's UEFA, right? UEFA organizes the Euros. Yes. Yeah, they do.
Yep.
Anyway, UEFA had to say that it was, what did they have to say? It was like they had to say, like, they had to dance around this because they couldn't say that, like, political statements aren't allowed or whatever, because Mbappe has been out there popping off about Le Pen and how the alt-right wave needs to be stopped in France in his press conferences. And so they had to sort of tiptoe around what they were punishing him for, I guess is the interesting thing about that, because they're allowing Mbappe to state his political opinions, but not this dude. Does that make sense? No? Does it make sense to you? Did I lose you? I might have lost Derek.
I lost your camera's gotten choppy, and the mic cut out for a bit. Yeah, I actually didn't realize that guy was suspended, so that's interesting.
Yeah. It does look awful on the stream.
I don't know. It's also weird because like, it's I'd have to read. I need to read up more. It's interesting because there's a huge Turkish population in Germany, obviously. And it's interesting because that's typically alt-right policies are pretty anti-immigrant, and so that's obviously how a lot of Turkish people ended up in Germany. So for somebody to be coming out from Turkey calling for that is, I don't know, interesting. But I know there's been a lot of going back to Özil and some of the other dynamics around players that have crossed those lines in one sense or another. There's certainly some angst there. Yeah.
So anyway, trying to. I don't know what is up. Can you hear me now? I don't know what's been going on with my internet. I spent some time looking into it between the last episode and this one. But yeah, it does look like it's just crapping out on the stream. I don't know. I'll have to spend some more time on it. Yeah, so about the match, I thought, I mean, everybody was gushing about Arda Güler. He had the assist, just a beautiful assist to who scored for them? That was their center back.
Yep.
And yeah, anyway, it looked like Turkey looked like they grew into this match, and they definitely ended the first half on the front foot. And I'd say like the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the second half were a little bit cagey between these teams, and then it was all Netherlands from that point on. It felt like so Netherlands ends up winning this one 2-1. I am not convinced by Netherlands. I was really hoping they'd get eliminated. The Orange Army can suck my dick. I think that they will be eliminated by England somehow. I don't believe in this team at all. That's my assessment. I think they finished third in their group. Like, they just suck.
They had the advantage of it. Yeah. I think they had the advantage of the easiest path to the semifinals, in my opinion. And I do think it's an interesting matchup with England because the Netherlands tends to be a more progressive team, though they're not necessarily a great finishing team. Depay being kind of at the center of that, although you saw it with a different look when Weghorst came into this game, which I think is what they need to lead with. They looked more dangerous, and Depay ends up with the assist.
Yep.
I'm also not sure about Bergwijn coming back from the dead. I'm not sure what that was all about versus like Frimpong coming in there to start. But yeah, that back line's pretty sick when you think about Ake and De Vrij and Van Dijk and frankly having Van der Ven coming off the bench, right? Gives them something different too. So
he made a great block there at the end of this one, if I remember right. He sort of bailed them out.
Yeah, he was kind of all over the pitch. Like, he was making runs forward and stuff. Like, he's kind of he's an interesting substitution at defense late in a game if that's where they end up. If he ends up getting that used that way again. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I think Turkey was somewhat overmatched from a talent standpoint overall in this game, and so it'll be interesting to see if Netherlands can really do anything in the semifinals against if nothing else, a very defensive mindset England team that doesn't give up a lot of good chances.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll be boring. But we'll see. Yeah. And that sort of wraps it for the Euros. So we look forward to Netherlands versus England and France versus Spain this week. And then the finals next weekend. So we'll be recapping all of that in the next episode of the Football Yanks. But before that, we've got transfers to talk about. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about?
No.
Aside from transfers? I have news for Chelsea and I have news for Tottenham. So the I think that's all I've got. Were there other moves? Surely there were other moves. Excuse me.
Track of
have to
all,
edit
man.
that out. Dest, he made his move permanent to the Dutch league, I think.
Yep.
That's something I forgot to talk about last week, so I wanted to shout that out. Chelsea made some interesting moves and potentially have additional interesting moves to make. But first, let's talk about Archie Gray. He did confirm his move to Tottenham and it was for quite a pretty penny. I don't have that written down here, but he is for £40 million. Archie Gray. Wait, I'm seeing 40 and 30 million pounds. Maybe it's 30 with like bonuses or something. Like achievable bonuses. I don't know. But yeah, this is a dude who really cooked against Chelsea in the it was the Carabao Cup. When did Chelsea play Leeds? He came from Leeds. It might have been the FA Cup. It was the FA Cup, and I just remember him really standing out. He did not look out of place against a Premier League squad, if at that point in the season you could call Chelsea a Premier League squad. This February 28th that occurred. So that was before Chelsea really started turning things around for their season, but anyway, he looked very, very bright in that match, and that was the only time I had ever heard of him until now. But he is apparently viewed to have a very high ceiling, and he is now a Tottenham player, which probably ends the Conor Gallagher to Tottenham possibility. You would think that like that fee that they paid was about what they said they were willing to pay for Conor Gallagher. So that makes things interesting in Chelsea's midfield, especially because they have signed Kieran Drewsbury Hall. I think I'm saying his name's right, who comes from Leicester, and that was made official this week. And I mean, Chelsea just have so many midfielders at this point. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to be very busy finding loans and things like that for the rest of the transfer window. But they have Cesare Cassidy. They have Andre Santos. They have Leslie Ugachukwu. They have Romeo Lavia, Enzo Caicedo, Conor Gallagher. I'm probably missing some.
Yeah, I mean, I think a handful of them probably go on loan. Some of those more obvious than others, and then I don't know. I get the sense there's still a possibility we sell Gallagher, given where his value is and what the expected playing time would be. I just don't know who the takers would be, but
yep. And then we also signed, we being Chelsea, we signed Renato Vega, who I had never heard of before. He is from the Swiss league. Basel, I think, is where he came from. Yeah. So this is an interesting move because Chelsea were rumored to be in for Calafiori.
Was that the Italian guy?
Yep. He, Riccardo Calafiori. People say, I don't say this, but people say that he had a very good Euros. I don't know how you could say that for anyone on that Italian team, but I will trust other people on this call. Because, I mean, there are lots of teams in for him, and Chelsea and Arsenal were attempting to make this happen. And Chelsea appear to have backed out of that, instead signing the player that Basel replaced Calafiori with in Renato Vega. Apparently very similar profiles, very versatile player. I guess he can play as a DM as well. Not that we need that. We have lots of that. He can play out left, and he can also play on the left side of a two center back pairing. I think he can also play in the middle for a back three if we're ever in that sort of system. So very, very versatile young center back. He also has a very old face. Have you looked at this guy?
He did look pretty old.
he's like 18 or 20 going on
really?
like 40.
Yeah, I thought he was like 35 when we first saw the picture.
Yeah.
Rugged looking dude.
Yeah, so he's seen some shit. I think
in Portugal you might. So,
so that's interesting for a couple of reasons. It could mean that one of Chile and or Cucurella go. They're among the highest earners at the team, and we know that the owners and the directors of football are obsessed with driving the wage structure down at Chelsea and have been pretty successful at that. And so I think this probably means that Chile's available and he'll likely go.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Cucurella, I mean, it's hard to imagine. I think Chelsea paid like 70 million euros or something like that for Cucurella. It's hard to imagine that he's driven his value to even equaling that with like half a season of good play under Poch, like the back half, and then like a very good Euros. Objectively, he's been excellent at the Euros.
Yeah.
But
which makes it tough to move on from just by virtue of that, right? Recent form in the Euros. So,
but you'd have to believe that there's like more of a market around him right now than Chilwell, who's played like 30% of the last 4 seasons or whatever, 3 seasons. So yeah, I mean that happened. And then Chelsea there's still some pieces I guess they're looking to add. They say they're still in the market for a striker. Omarodian, I guess, they're still trying to negotiate that. And then Osimhen, apparently, I don't know what's going on at Napoli, but Don Conte came out and he said that he rejected all transfer requests except for Osimhen, that there was nothing he could do about Osimhen, that was an agreement that was made before he got there. And so there's some sort of expectation or requirement that they move Osimhen on, and there does not appear to be much interest in Osimhen's services. Now, he has been quite injury prone. The season he was able to stay fit, he was the Golden Boot for Serie A. But he has objectively had a very down season this past season. Napoli as a whole did. And he is now on very high wages. I think I saw like 245,000 euros a week or something like that. Like Mykhailo Mudryk is on like 70 or something like that. So like, I think that the highest earner, like Osimhen's wage packet currently exceeds that of the highest earner at Chelsea, which I think is Lukaku at 230. So that will make that deal tough. But apparently Chelsea are still trying to make it work, especially with Don Conte wanting a swap or really wanting Lukaku. He's on record saying that he thinks Lukaku is the perfect striker. Lukaku likes working with and for Conte. So we'll see. There might be something to be done there. I don't know. But
well, when it's literally the only shoe that fits, it would behoove us to make it happen, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But it is hard to bring in a player. Like if you're knocking the wage structure down and you're getting everyone to buy into these incentive-based contracts, and then you bring in a dude who like you break your whole wage structure for.
Yeah.
That's tough. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what'll happen there. My gut says that it will not happen, but they do need to move Lukaku on. So who knows? I don't know. Arsenal is also rumored to be in for him, and so is PSG. But I gotta believe if PSG actually wanted Osimhen, that they would just have him.
True. That's a good point, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's all I got. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
Those are all my transfer rumors.
Yeah.
It
It should be heating up here through the soft deadline, like I talked about last week. And we are heading toward, I mean, preseason for a lot of these clubs. So the next month should be quite busy.
Yeah.
Because you want your team relatively well established by then. We saw what happens to a world-class player when they get no preseason. Took Caicedo till about like February to look like, fit for the PL. So that would be a lesson learned, at least for Chelsea, and other clubs have probably long learned that lesson. We've got new cowboy owners, so yeah. All right, well, that's a podcast. We will catch you guys next week. There will be no Luke ever again. We are on Discord. We are on YouTube. We're on most social. I've been talking shit on Twitter a bit. Come join our Discord, like and subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch you guys next week with the Euro final. A wrap up there, the Copa final, and I don't know what. I guess the Olympics are coming up. If people want to talk about that, I don't watch the Olympics. Bunch of fucking C-list sports.
Basketball, Ryan. Basketball.
I don't care. All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.